Welcome to Living More Kids Online. We are so glad that you have joined us here today. Last week we started talking about the creation, and we learned that on the first day God created light. This week we are going to talk about day 2 of creation. On this very busy day, God created the skies and the waters of the earth. He told them both just how far they could go. Wow, God is so powerful. Can you imagine commanding the sky and the waters and giving them boundaries and telling them where to start and where to end at? But you know, boys and girls, the waters of the earth and the sky are not the only things that God gave boundaries to or rules to. He made some pretty special ones for us too. Today, boys and girls, our story is about the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments were rules or guidelines or boundaries that are pretty important to God. He wants us to follow these rules or these boundaries so that we can walk in His blessings. Today, our main point is God gave us boundaries. So the 10 Commandments, boys and girls, are like the rules that we have in our homes. Rules like take your shoes off before you go on the carpet, or no screen time during dinner, or no food in the living room. These are rules or boundaries that have been put in place for us by our parents. And when we honor and follow and obey these rules with a happy heart, we're showing our parents that we love them and that we honor them. And you know, it's the same with the 10 Commandments. When we follow God's boundaries that He has set for us with a happy heart, we're showing God that we know you, God. We honor you and we love you. Let's check out our story about Moses and the 10 Commandments.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Moses. This is Moses, who was an Israelite born in Egypt, in a time when Israelite boys were not supposed to live. Moses, however, grew up in the palace of the Pharaoh, the very man who was enslaving the Israelite people. When Moses grew up, he made a big mistake and fled Egypt to live with the Midianites. But God called Moses back to Egypt to deliver his people with the help of his brother Aaron. After God showed His miraculous power in Egypt, He led the Israelites through the Red Sea and towards the Promised Land. They followed God, who showed Himself as a cloud by day and fire by night. As God led them through the wilderness, the Israelites became thirsty and hungry. They complained to Moses and Aaron and said, "If only we had died in Egypt." God said to Moses that He would provide for His people. Each morning they awoke and found manna for the day.
What's that?
And each night God gave them meat. The people were still thirsty, and they were mad at Moses, saying, "Did you bring us out here to die of thirst?" So Moses cried out to God, and God told Moses to strike a rock, and water came flowing out of it for the people to drink. And so the Lord provided for His people's needs. After traveling in the desert for 3 months, they came to Mount Sinai, and God called Moses from the top of the mountain. God spoke to Moses there of the future of His people and reminded him of the miracles of the past. After 3 days, there was thunder and lightning as a thick cloud covered the mountain. The people heard a loud trumpet blast. And Moses led people to the foot of the mountain to meet with God. God told them how His people were to live and how they were to honor Him and respect each other. the Israelites had seen for themselves that God had spoken to Moses from heaven. These rules that God told them are called the 10 Commandments. And the Israelites feared God, for his mighty power had brought them out of slavery and provided for them in the desert.
So the 10 Commandments were way more than just a list of rules to keep people from doing what they wanted to do. You see, when God gave the Israelites the 10 Commandments, he was basically saying to them, do these things so that you can have a relationship with me, a good relationship with me and with those around you. Every one of the 10 Commandments were given to show us how to honor God and how to honor those around us. The 10 Commandments are so much more than just a list of rules. Miss Brittany, our friend, is going to show us more about that right now.
Oh, hey guys! I'm just cleaning up the kitchen. Do any of you have chores that you do around the house or rules that you have to follow? Yeah? Maybe your job is to clean your room or clean the spit out of the sink after you brush your teeth. Or maybe you have to take care of the pets or take out the trash. You know, those rules are in place to help you and your family have a good, happy relationship. My daughter Elena has rules. She has to clean up after herself and put toys away in the basket. She's a little young right now, but when she gets older, she'll have more chores, like doing the dishes or taking care of the dog. And when she obeys, that's how she shows her love to me. That's how she honors me, by obeying me. When I ask her to do it, she proves her love and honor by obeying with a good attitude. That's the important part. You have to obey with a good, happy attitude. You know, the 10 Commandments are a lot like the house rules. God wants you to have a great relationship with him. He wants you to obey him and to show him honor by being obedient to the 10 Commandments. When we obey God's law with a good attitude, we're showing him that we know him, that we honor him, and that we love him. Jesus said it this way, if you love me, keep my commandments. He said that in John 14:15. It's not about the rules or the guidelines or the boundaries. It's about the relationship. It's about the love and honor that comes with obedience. So what happens if we mess up and we don't follow these 10 Commandments? Does God get mad at us? No, not at all. God will always be there waiting for you to come back to him, to talk to him about the sin, and he will forgive us. Obeying the 10 Commandments will keep us in good, happy relationships with God and those around us. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we learned today. God created the sky and waters, giving us the first boundaries. Boundaries means rules or guidelines. When we obey God's laws, we are showing him that we know him, that we honor him, and that we love him. Time for a review game. Question number 1. What number day are we learning about this week? Is it A, 14, B, 1, C, 2, or D, 7? Number 2. What did God create on the second day of creation? Is it A, sky and water, B, cars, C, animals, or D, day and night? Question number 3. What was the list of boundaries that God gave to the Israelites? Was it A, house rules, B, the 10 Commandments, C, rules to live by, or D, God's law? Last question. Question number 4. What is this week's main point? Is it A, God gives us Skittles? B, God gives us lots of gifts? C, God gives us boundaries? Or D, God created the world? Have a great week.